Okay. So up till now we have seen the different problems regarding the analysis of indeterminate type of truss. Okay. So up till now, whatever problems you have seen, that all were statically internally indeterminate type of truss. Okay. Now we are going for the truss which is externally indeterminate. Okay. So here is the given problem. Just here the horizontal, which are the horizontal members and which are the vertical members and which are the diagonal members. Just all these three types of members are having different cross section area. On this given truss, 3-point loads are there. This at point B, 12 Newton and 12 Newton, vertical and horizontal. And at joint C, another 12 Newton force is there. Okay. So first of all, just will find its total SDI. The formula for total SDI is M plus R minus 2J. Okay. So here, so you count the number of members. The number of members are at periphery AB, BC, CD, 3 members, and inside 2 members are there. Okay. That is total 5 members are there. Here AD is not a member, just actually it is the ruled page. AD it's not a member. Okay, so first of all we will find total SDI of the structure M plus R minus 2J. So number of members are 5. Number of joints are considered is A, B, C and D. Okay, I not consider this as joint. Okay, if I consider this as joint, that means I have to consider this member separately and this member separately, and this member separate and this member separate. It means based on the number of joints, number of member will vary, but of course ultimately the total SDI of the structure will be same. Okay, so here total SDI is M is 5, J number of joints are 4. Now come to the reactive component R. Okay, so here at support A and at support D, there is a provision of hinge support. So at hinge support, there will exist 2 reactive component. So at A, 2 reactive component, perfectly vertical force and perfectly horizontal force. And at point D, at joint D, again perfectly vertical force and perfectly horizontal force. Okay. So ultimately, number of reactive components comes out to be 4. Number of reactive components are 4. So here total SDI is 1. So the given structure is indeterminate. Okay. Now we'll find external SDI, external static indeterminacy. So formula is number of unknown minus number of equilibrium equation. Number of unknowns are nothing but the R, that is reactive components are 4 minus equilibrium equation are 3. So we are getting external SDI equals to 1. Okay. So from here we can conclude that the given structure is external indeterminate. Now we are going to analyze this given indeterminate type of structure. So for that we'll go for first of all P forces, P force calculation. P force calculation means what we are going to do in P forces. Just we are going to make the structure as a determinate type of structure. Okay. So here, as the given structure is externally indeterminate, so to make the given structure determinate, we have to change externally. Okay. So of course at the external side of this truss there is a provision of supports. Of course the supports are provided at externally. That's why it is called as an externally indeterminate type of truss. Okay. So here at joint D, just I made some changes. That is, instead of provision of hinge support, at joint D, I have provided a roller support. That means I have removed HD, horizontal reactive component at D joint. I removed HD. Okay, so here in this example, I have taken HD, that is horizontal reactive component at joint D as unknown. Okay, you just remove this HD at joint D. That's why this at joint D there is a single reactive component reaction RD. So it means it's just like a provision of a roller support at joint D. Okay. So now the given structure is become determined type of truss. Okay. Of course, this is a determined type of truss. Now you can solve, you can analyze the given truss by any method, that is by joint method or by section method. Okay. So first of all, find reaction RAY and RAX. AY means vertical reactive component at A, and this is horizontal reactive component at A joint. Okay. So of course, we don't know the directions of the reactive component. Just we are assumed that reaction RAY and reaction RD going upward and RAX going towards right side. Just these are the assumed direction. We don't know the actual direction. Okay. Now next, to get this reactive component, will take a moment at joint A. Just take a moment at joint A. So that calculation I have done over here. Take a moment at joint A. So just of course clockwise we are taking positive, anti-clockwise we are going to take it as negative. Okay. Likewise, by taking a moment at joint A, you can get the value of reaction RD. Reaction RD comes out to be positive. Positive means assumed direction is correct. That is, RD is going in an upward direction. Okay. Next, apply summation Fy equal to 0. Apply summation Fy equal to 0 to this diagram. So RAY going upward and RD going upward, take it as positive. RAY plus RD minus this 12 minus this 12 Newton force. Okay. So likewise, we can apply summation Fy equal to 0 and you can get the value of RAY. Here reaction RAY we are getting minus, means assumed direction is wrong. So we'll make some correction in the direction. So RAY finally comes out to be 4 Newton in a downward direction. Next, apply to that diagram summation Fx equal to 0. So here again you are getting RAX as negative, means again our assumed direction is wrong. So just make the assumed direction correct. So finally RAX is going towards left. Okay. So actually if you observe this given diagram, here this 12 Newton force is the horizontal force going towards right. That's why to balance or to be in equilibrium, the RAX must go towards the left side. This 12 Newton force is going towards the right side. That's why RAX must go towards left side. Okay, so that we have got, but previously we were assumed going towards right. Okay, so of course this is just assumption. After application of the equilibrium equation, we are getting a final answer. Okay, so we have got RAX as 12 Newton going towards left side. Now we will apply a joint method. Here we have considered free body diagram of joint D. Here we will apply, just we consider joint D. Just draw a free body diagram of joint D. Drawing a free body diagram means just you have to show all the forces and all the members meeting to that joint. Okay, so at joint D, this FCD, that is the force in a member CD, and force in a member BD is the unknown. Of course, joint method can be applied only when at a joint maximum two unknowns are there. Okay, so just resolve this given force. Just here force in a member BD and force in a member CD, we have assumed tensile. We don't know the nature, we have assumed it as a tensile. That's why I've shown arrows away from a joint. This arrow and this arrow, both arrows are away from joint D. Okay. Now to this diagram, to this free body diagram, apply summation fx equal to 0. Okay. So why I am applying summation fx equal to 0 first of all? Because if you apply summation fy equal to 0 first of all, then FBD sign component and FCD both are unknown. Okay, so you will get nothing to that equation. That's why here I applied summation fx equal to 0 first of all. So from this you are getting the value of FBD as 0, force in a member BD as 0. So here if you apply summation fy equal to 0, we are getting the force in a member CD. Okay, force in a member CD is, we are getting minus. Minus means assumed direction is wrong. Okay, so make it plus and write its nature. Final nature of the force is compressive. Okay, so again I'll come to that diagram. Okay, actually you are not required to use the free body diagram of joint D. I have shown the calculation, I explained the calculation regarding the solving of FBD of joint D. Okay, but instead of going for that calculation, you can skip that also by using the rules, that is the zero force member rules. Okay, so here at joint D, two members are meeting and one force is there. Two members, one force is there, and out of these two members, one of the member, that is member DC, is collinear with the reactive component RD. Okay, it is collinear with this force. RD is nothing but the reactive force, so it is collinear. So that's why you can directly write that force in rest of the member, that is force in member BD, will be directly equal to 0. Okay, so already we have gone to the zero force member rule, so you can apply over here. Okay, next come to the another joint. Consider free body diagram of joint A. Consider free body diagram of joint A. So here, while considering free body diagram, you have to consider the actual direction of the forces. Here, reaction RAY we have got finally as reaction RAY, force Newton going downward. Okay, so that direction you have to consider over here. Okay, So that means you have to consider the final direction of a force. Okay, so here final direction of the reactive components are RAY going downward and RAX going towards left side. Next, the unknowns are FAB and FAC. Okay, so just assume again tensile force in the both the members. That's why I have shown arrows away from a joint. These are the assumed direction. I assume both are the tensile. So again, arrow away from a joint. So apply summation fx equal to 0 to this diagram. Next, apply. So summation fx equal to 0. So FAC, it is a cos component. Horizontal will be a cos component. FAC cos of this angle 53.13 minus 12. So you are getting FAC as positive. Positive means assumed direction is correct. Assumed was tensile. Okay. Next, to this diagram itself. Just apply summation Fy equal to 0. Okay. So here FAC sine 53.13 going upward, that's why plus FAB minus this 4 kilonewton. Okay, that is to be equal to 0. So here in a summation Fy, forces going upward, we are taking positive. This we are taking positive, and forces going downward, we are taking negative. Okay. So here the important thing is what? We have to put the value of FAC as 20 kilonewton over here. Okay. This value you have to put as it is. We have got the answer positive. Put this value as it is over here. From this we can get the force in a member AB. We are getting it as a negative. Force in a member AB we are getting negative, means assumed direction is wrong. Just make it plus and write its nature, that is FAB we are getting compression. Okay, compression means just we are taken opposite of assumed. Assumed was tensile, so opposite of tensile it is a compression. That's it. So now come to the free body diagram of joint C. Again draw FBD of joint C. Show the forces acting on joint C. This is the external force 12 Newton acting on joint C. Here the unknown is the only FBC, force in the BC is the unknown, and previously we have calculated force in a member AC 20 Newton as tensile. That's why I have shown direction over here, tensile. Here previously we have got FCD 28 kilonewton as compression. FCD previously we have got as compression. That's why this arrow is acting towards joint. Acting towards joint, compression. Okay, acting towards arrow, acting towards joint, it is called as compression. Arrow, this arrow away from this joint, it's called as tension. Okay. Now only single force is unknown, that is FBC. So just apply single equation, that is apply summation Fx equal to 0 to this diagram. You will get a force in a member BC. Okay. So how to apply summation Fx? Just forces going towards left, take it as negative. Forces going towards left, which are horizontal, take it as negative, and forces going towards right side, take it as positive. Okay. So here we have got the answer negative. Again make it plus, and instead of tensile again write here compression. Okay. just opposite of tension, we are written over here compression. So finally FBC we are getting 12 Newton as compression. Now apply K forces. Now this part is important while consideration of K forces. So what we are going to do in K forces, first of all, just we have to remove all the externally applied force. That is the first step. Just remove all the externally applied force. Okay, that is the first step. Next, second step, provide a unit force at the unknown. Provide a unit force at the unknown. So here in this example, we have treated HD, that is the horizontal reactive component at joint D, as unknown. Okay, so while considering P forces, just we are removed HD, and that's why the structure has become determinate. Okay, so that is the unknown. Okay, so here at joint D, that is at unknown, provide a unit force. Okay, so in the direction of HD, we are going to provide 1 kilonewton force. Okay, so now if you observe the given diagram, so here in the total system there is no any existence of horizontal force. Just at joint D, we have applied a horizontal force which is going towards right. That's why to balance this structure at A, there must exist a horizontal reactive component of magnitude 1 Newton going towards left side. Okay, of course, to balance this 1 Newton, there must exist a 1 Newton force at joint A. Okay, this is going towards right, and at joint A, the force must go towards left to balance the total structure. Now, again, in the in this problem, there is no any application of forces. Of course, we are in the K forces. We are going to remove the external applied force. That's why RA and RD comes out to be 0. RAY and RDY comes out to be 0. Now next task is to get the forces in the members of truss. Okay. So for that, just we'll consider FBD of joint D. FBD of joint D. Of course, now in this case, we have to consider free body diagram at joint D of joint D, because at joint D we have applied a horizontal force, and here two members are meeting, that is KBD and KCD. These two members are meeting at joint D, and here the force, that is applied force 1 Newton, is not collinear. It's not a collinear with any of the two members. That's why here we have to solve a joint D. Okay, we can't apply over here a zero force member rule. Okay, for zero force member rule, the one of the member must be collinear with the force. Okay, so here the force applied is horizontal, and this member is inclined, and this member is vertical. Okay, so there is no any collinearity between the member and force. That's why we have to solve a joint D. Just apply summation fx equal to 0. So here KBD going towards left, that's why I take it as negative. Of course, when the angle is measured with respect to x-axis, then horizontal will be always a cos component, and vertical will be always a sine component. Okay. Important thing is we have to measure angle with respect to x-axis. So here K minus KBD, as it is going towards left, that's why minus, and 1 quiton going towards right, that's why plus. So from this we can get the value of KBD. Force in a member BD, we are getting positive. Positive means assumed direction is correct. Now to this diagram apply summation Fy equals to 0. To this diagram apply summation Fy equals to 0. So here KCD plus KBD sine 53.13. So likewise we are getting force in a member CD as negative. Force in a member CD as negative. Here you can write in a bracket. Here you can write in a bracket as a assumed direction, that is tensile. Okay. So every time for every free body diagram, assume the nature of unknown members as tensile. Here force in a member BD and force in a member CD was unknown, both are assumed tensile. So just make the answer positive and write over here. So in opposite of negative there is positive. So opposite of tensile there is a compression. So finally KCD is in compression. Now consider free body diagram of joint A. Consider FBD of joint A. So again just KAB and KAC were assumed tensile. That's why arrows away from a joint. So here apply summation Fx equal to 0. That is force is going towards right, take it as positive. Force is going towards left, take it as negative. So KAC going towards the right, that's why it will be plus. KAC cos 53.13 and this 1 Newton is going towards left, that's why negative. So from this we are getting KAC, that is the force in a member AC. We are getting positive, means assumed direction is correct. Apply summation Fy equal to 0, that is just we will consider forces going upward positive, forces going downward negative. So here KAB plus KAC sine 53.13 equals to 0. From this you are getting KAB as negative, just make it as positive and write its nature. Okay, so finally you are getting KAB as compression. Next consider FBD of joint C. Consider free body diagram of joint C. So here just unknown member is only KBC. We know the force in a member KAC and we know the force in a member KCD. Previously we have got the forces in both the members as tensile. So arrow away from a joint. Okay. Here while considering free body diagram, we have to consider the known values. Okay, with the known nature. Here the force in the member AC and CD is known to us. We know the magnitude as well as its direction. Both we have got tensile, so arrows are from a joint. Here KBC we will assume as tensile, that's why arrow away from a joint. Now to this diagram apply summation Fx equal to 0. KBC is unknown, apply summation Fx equal to 0, we will get KBC. Apply summation Fx equal to 0 to this diagram. Okay. To this diagram apply summation Fx equals to 0. Finally we are getting KBC as compression. After this just draw this table draw this table. Just first of all write the area of every member, members, forces, that is P force calculation and K force calculation. So important thing while writing down this table is we have to consider a sign convention as we are going to take tension as positive and compression as negative. So here force in a member AB, while analyzing by P forces, we have got compression. That's why I have written minus 12. So for this table, what is the sign convention? For this table and for further calculation, the sign convention is tension, we are going to take it as a positive. Compression, we are going to take it as a negative. Okay. So now next step, just write down the length of every member. You can calculate the length of every member by using just Pythagoras theorem. Some of the lengths are given and some length you can calculate by using Pythagoras theorem. Now find PKL upon A. Just these are P forces, PKL divided by this first column A. Okay. Next find K square L upon A. At last, you take its summation. Remember, while taking this multiplication, you have to take this multiplication along with its sign. Okay. So next, apply this. Just use this formula, that is x equals to minus summation of pkl upon a divided by summation of a square l upon a. Okay. So here you have to write k square l upon e. That is the formula. pkl upon a divided by summation of k square l divided by a. That is here missing, divided by a. So finally you can get this x. What is this x? X is the force coefficient. We are getting it as minus. Along with its sign, you have to take it as it is. Okay. Now instead of S, just consider this as F. F is the force in a member of truss, is equals to P plus XK. Instead of S, consider F. F equals to P plus XK. Force in a member AB, that is to be equals to, what is P? P forces. Okay, so now come to this table. So FAB will be equals to P, this is the P force. Okay, that is minus 12 plus X. X is we have got negative minus 9.72. Okay, into this K value, that is minus 1.34. From this table you can take these values, that is values of P and K. Finally we are getting the answer as positive. Positive means the given, positive means the nature of the force of member AB is tensile. Okay, nature of the force here is tensile. Okay, so for the table and for rest of the other this calculation, that is F equals to P plus XK, the sign convention is positive means tensile, negative means compression. So here force in the member BC is, we are getting, just apply this P, this put this value of X and put the other K along with the sign. Okay, we are getting answer negative. Negative means the force in the member BC is compression. So likewise, we have completed this problem, that is we have found out the forces in all the members of truss. Okay, so write down the final answer along with its unit, that is Here the applied forces were in kilonewton. That's why I have written the unit of the force as kilonewton and nature in a bracket you have to write. Okay. So complete answer will be, you have to write the force FCD is equals to magnitude, you have to write its unit, and you have to write its nature. Okay.